Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Ash here, and of course, we have to do a match reaction to the Newcastle Barcelona game. Um, General thoughts before we get into this. I am happy about the way we are, the way we went about. We looked very dangerous. Uh, we were crying out for having someone like Johan Wissa to be starting, having Gordon on the left instead of Harvey Barnes. Like I said, bringing him off the bench. I'm going to get more into this, but if we had Gordon on the left, Wisser in the middle, starting the game with Alanga on the right, we would have been 2 or 3 goals up in the first half. Look, I'm going to say this straight up. Barcelona is one of the favourites to win the competition. We easily could have won this game. We pushed them all away. The person obviously scored some worldies was Marcus Rashford. That bullet header from the penalty spot was absolutely insane. Like, I don't think people understand how hard it is to generate the power that he did for that header and the accuracy, crazy. And then obviously his wonder goal that he smashed off the bar and then back in. It was two amazing goals. Jules Koundé, this man, unbelievable player. Like, what I would do to have him at the club. Like, imagine getting Jules Koundé. Obviously, Tito's normally a right back, but have him over on the left, then have. Not going to get into that. Either way, yeah, they looked very good. Lewandowski looked pretty much out of the game. He was being bodied by Fabian Schär the whole game. He kept on being like to the ref, "Oh, four tackles now." Oh yeah, well, grow some muscle and man up. Yeah, Schär had a very good game. Granted, for the first goal, he definitely had a concussion because he got absolutely flipping rattled in the face by a ball from Marcus Rashford. And then, yeah, he just looked lost. Was it the first goal or was it the second one? I can't remember. But he just looked lost when during that time. It's the whole thing why concussion subs are a thing. I think he should have had it. I think it's very, very difficult to actually define and medically do concussions. It's a very iffy subject because you do all the finger stuff or whatever, and you could probably pass it, but they might still have residual concussion. I know because I had a concussion from something. Well, I dislocated my shoulder once. Was putting it back in myself. Smacked my head on a TV stand. Cracked my head open whilst doing it, and I had concussion for like the day. And I was answering questions and talking fine, but I realised later on that I was giving all the complete wrong answers. But obviously, the people that you're talking to don't know what the right answers are, so they can't say you've got concussion or whatever because they don't realise you're giving the wrong answers, even though you could be thinking you are. Either way, complete side topic. Back to back to the game. Look, we started off incredibly well. I think this is the one time that I can say Bruno Tonali. Obviously, Joe Linton's not really had much game time recently, to be honest. Like, obviously, he's fallen out of favour a bit with the likes of Jacob Ramsey, which has obviously been out. But that being said, Pedri, my God, what a player! At the age of 22 is crazy. Like, I think he's played like over 200 games as well at this age. He is just an absolute unbelievable player. Like, whenever he was on the ball, he was like able to do like passes and switching plays so easy. He's someone that obviously you can't give time to on the ball. He looked amazing. I'll give Barcelona that. They had a great sort of defensive midfield. The front wasn't that amazing. Rafinha looked obviously the deadliest, apart from Rashford. That was very clinical. Rashford just I don't think he scored at Barcelona before today. So yeah, I mean I'm happy for him as a player to do well. But let's just go through it anyway. As you can see, we somehow had more XG than they did. That's just to go to show what XG means. Absolute pile of bollocks. Don't ever look at XG. Load of shit. Ball possession, that doesn't surprise me that they had more. Obviously, I think it was very much a game of two halves. I think the first half we looked very dangerous, which we always do at St James's Park. It's the way that a lot of teams do. They try to ride us out, and then in the second half, they then come forward, which is, like I was bringing back to the point of, the reason why Nick Voltemada didn't start was because he had 60 minutes the other day against Wolves, and he got brought off because he said he had some like cramp or something. He was obviously the physicality of the Premier League is different, So that's the reason he didn't start today. Because, I mean, I get the idea because of the pace that we have. So, look at this. So we've got Barnes, Gordon, Elanga. The amount of times in the first half that we nearly scored a goal because you had the likes of Bruno being about here, Elanga or Gordon making runs behind because Barcelona had a very high defensive line. So all it took was balls that went behind them and we were in. It happened so many times and we should have scored so many. I remember the one where Elanga brought it across. Gordon obviously was about here, completely missed a shot. That probably would have been a goal. We had another one where Harvey Barnes shot from here and he went straight to where Garcia was instead of bringing it back across the goal, which you should always try and do. Obviously, it's not easy to do, but the likes of this, say if we had Gordon on that side, I think would have been able to do that. And then Whistler in the middle, which has pace. I completely understood the idea of what Eddie Howe went with because he was trying to go with pace, fast counter-attacking football, and it looked good. And then later on in the game, you would then have a full-on switch of the front three to bring on Barnes, Voltemada, and Jacob Murphy. Those three that you bring on is a very attacking-minded, crossing. Because bear in mind, right? I'm pretty sure Voltemada and Dan Burn are like 3 or 4 inches taller than the entirety of the Barcelona team. So crosses would be our strong suit. In the first half, we were doing these really stupid corners where we were trying to Trippier would pass it out to someone, then they would do a short ball pass to rechange the angle, then cross it in, but they never really worked out. I think with the size of like Joe Linton and Dan Burn, the best thing to do, just cross it into the edge of the 6-yard box and just let the physicality and the size of our players just do the work. Because I always think changing angles is good, but when you've got players that are bigger than their entire team, just whack the ball in, man. Just whack the ball in. Put it on a 50p's head onto Big Dan Burns' noggin, and he's going to score because he has a knack for scoring with his head in big games. But yeah, like I said, Marcus Rashford, unbelievable. Like I said, I think as a whole, I'm very happy with our team's performance. The ratings don't do it justice. For me, need to have Harvey Barnes on the bench for a little bit. Have Gordon on. I'm always a big fan of Barnes, but I know why he's done this because Whistler's out. Gordon is good, but he's not a centre forward, unfortunately. Wish he was, but he isn't. But yeah. We had Voltemada came on. He looked okay again, but as you can see from our substitutes, Malichau, like I already said this, right? Malichau and Sven Botman are going to be like our main defenders going forward. So they just need time to settle in. Malichau's obviously got quite a lot of experience with AC Milan in the Champions League, so yeah, he came on, looks good. Which he came on for Fabian Schär because of his head injury, and then. Yeah, we had obviously Jacob Murphy, like I said, unbelievable player. As you can see here, he got an assist. This man, I have said this from day dot, absolute clinical person. But the only issue is he's 30, so So Eddie Howe's trying to bring Anthony Elanga in over Jacob Murphy. However, I think we need to be having Jacob Murphy start quite a lot of games because of his. I mean, I get why you bring him on later. Actually, I could see why you would start Jacob Murphy actually instead of Elanga, then bring Elanga on later for his pace. But Jacob Murphy, like he's just so good at finding people in the box, and he's got a good shot on him. But yeah, I, as a whole, I was okay with our subs. Obviously, the likes of say Joseph Willett, Joe Willock. That would have been say we would have had Jacob Ramsey maybe starting. Actually, I don't know if we would. Joe Linton, I like Joe Linton in games like this because he's very physical, and especially against a Spanish side which likes to do a lot of this tiki-taki football where they just smash it between each other and to break down people, especially with Pedri. Joe Linton, I think, was okay. But yeah, they obviously, in the second half, when they scored their goals and stuff, they ended up doing a bit more of the dirty football where they were pulling shirts, just getting like little tackles in. It's what people do. You get yellow cards and stuff for it, but it's what good teams do to just stall out the game and make people be out of it It's very annoying as a team supporting the other team, but I understand it because I'd want my team to do similar sort of things. We'll go through the stats quickly. Like I said, XG, what a load of bollocks. Flipping shove that up someone's arse. Who's that? Flipping hate XG, man. It's nice to see some ways, but it's how they work XG out it just doesn't make sense sometimes. You can have someone shooting an open goal and miss, and the XG would be like 0.4, and it's like, how? But either way, yeah. Total shots, obviously Barcelona had a lot. We had more shots on target. We would just be a bit more clinical with the shots on target. We, granted, this is still not true because we missed shots, and I said on a different day, with people in the actual position that they're meant to be, Anthony Gordon on the left, I think we score two or three in the first half, and then it's a completely different game. But it is what it is. I'm happy with how we did. I think we will end up hopefully getting through the knockout stages. We looked very good. Obviously, we've still got some big games, but I'm happy with our first game of the Champions League. Obviously, crowd was absolutely amazing. Wore flags, did amazing with all these stuff they always do. But yeah, like obviously a lot of all the passing and stuff was always going to be in the favour of Barcelona. Not massively in the favour. Obviously, you can see the offsides because they were played an incredibly high line. So they were trying. You could see the complete different style of football that we were doing. That Barcelona had a high line, and we knew that, so we tried to do a lot of counter-attacking football with our pace. Whereas they were playing a lot more between the lines with the likes of Pedri. Their midfield, like I said, bossed ours, and I think that it's mainly because of Pedri. To be honest, that man is just a phenom at his age, and because of how many games he's played, he's felt like he's been in football for so long, but he hasn't. But yeah, either way, like I said, I think it was okay. I think as a team we played well, and I am happy with our performance. I think we could have done a bit more. Like I said, if we had Gordon on the left, Visser in the middle, which obviously he's meant to be back at sort of the end of this month, start of next month, so he should be back for some more Champions League games going forward. I think it's going to be very good for our team. We could be scoring more of these goals that we're just not having, especially with having Gordon on the left. Because I absolutely love Gordon, but he's just not a centre forward. And I get why we don't want to start Voltemado in the middle, because he's not had enough time. So, as a whole, imagine this. We had Gordon on the left, Voltemado in the middle, Langer on the right. And then it gets to about 60 minutes or something, and the legs of Voltemado's gone. Who do we have to put there? We either have to move Gordon into the middle, which you don't want because he will have used a lot of his legs with the high press that we had. We won the ball up quite a lot, very high up into like the edge of the area as well with our high press. But if you then do that, Gordon's a bit more tired. Who else are we going to bring on? Flipping Willisula? God no. I don't want Willisula coming on against flipping Wolves. Never mind Barcelona. So I very much understand the formation that we have. I'm happy, is what it is. We'll have a quick look at like I said, just to quickly go through it, I think the team did very well. Looked very good at St James's Park, as they always do. I'm happy with the performance. Let's just get some more time for Nick Voltemado to settle in, Wisser to come back, and I think we're going to have a good season. Anyway, we'll quickly have a quick look at the other games that went on last night. Napoli, Man City. Man City and Napoli, I should say. Yeah, this is a bit of a stinky game because Napoli got a red card. I think it was about the 30th minute or something, so they were never going to be in contention. I hate it when stuff like that happens in high games, in good games like this, because it just kills the game off. Like, because you know that Napoli are going to be playing a defensive block, a very low defensive block, have 10 men behind the ball the whole game, and just hope for a draw or hope they get the occasional counter-attack something. Not a big fan of this. It makes the game very dead. Got Sporting 4-1. Frankfurt 5-1 to Galatasaray. Wow, I wasn't expecting that. But Galatasaray had 62% possession. What have I said about XG? Pile of bollocks. 1.2 and they score 5. What a bollocks that is. I've not watched this game, so I kind of want to watch this back actually. But they had 5 shots on target and scored 5. I mean, fair enough. And they had 2 big chances and scored. I mean, granted, one of them was an own goal, but wow. Either way, Club Brugge. These are the 2 of the early kickoffs. Club Brugge smashed Monaco 4-1. Leverkusen drew 2-2, which is a bit of a crazy one. And then, like I said, the City-Napoli game. Haaland, I keep on telling you this. Everyone needs to understand Haaland is an enigma. People need to stop downplaying him. People don't talk about him enough. This man has a goal of 1 a game. I think he got his 50th Champions League goal, which is like miles ahead of everyone. This man is a flipping machine. He's not human. And people need to stop writing Man City off simply because of this person. This guy, like I told you, insane. So he only had 14 touches, and what does he do? Scores. he's just a different player. Oh my God, I'm like losing my voice here. Phil Foden, judging by this, had a very good game, got an assist. I didn't watch this game, like I said, because obviously I was watching the Newcastle game. Had all my attention. But that's good if Phil Foden's doing well, because I want him to do well. He's an incredibly good player at club. Not at international, that's a different subject. But at club level, he's very good. So it's good to see him getting back into it. Obviously, like I said, like 21st minute, flipping Lorenzo got sent off. He's their buddy captain, I'm pretty sure, as well. Shocking. But yeah, back to Newcastle as a whole. I'm happy with our performance. Let's just see how it goes going forward. Get some people back into the team with the likes of Wissa and Jacob Ramsey. Our team's going to look different. Because just imagine that, like I said, late. If we had a similar sort of start to this, where we had the same sort of... We had the same midfield, but then I had Gordon, Elanga, Wissa. Very fast-pacey, counter-attacking team. And then when it gets to like 60, 70 minutes, when it gets a bit more leggy, you then bring the likes of Jacob Ramsey on for Joe Linton. You bring Harvey Barnes on for Gordon, Voltemada and Murphy. And then obviously you've then got an extra sort of sub, which will probably be used for a defender. If we get the ability to do that, obviously. If not, you could just leave the likes of Gordon on for Barnes. Don't have to bring him off. Have 2 defender switches, being the Malik Chow and Shah, or bring on Malik Chow, bring off, say, Trippier or something, bring on Lewis Hall. There's a lot of things we can do. We have a good squad. We just need them to be back fit. But either way, guys, I'm happy with the performance. Obviously, we've got a game on Sunday, I'm pretty sure is when it is. So it's going to be... So let's just have a look forward to our... Let's have a look forward to our games going forward. So, yeah, so we've got Bournemouth away on Sunday. Eddie Howe back at home. Back at his home, what do you say? Newcastle Bradford in the EFL Cup. That's on the 24th. So that's another midweek game. And then we have the Newcastle Arsenal game. That's going to be a massive game. And then we have Union away. That's going to be a midweek Champions League game. Hopefully, I don't know if Wiss is going to be back for that. We'll see. He might be around about then, but I wouldn't want him to push him. But it'd be good to have him in for this game because this is a winnable game, in my opinion. So we're going to have that. Then Forest at home. Got quite a lot of home games this season. That Benfica. This game's going to be good because, like I said, Pav was one of my tips to get as a striker. Granted, I'm pretty. They lost 3-2 to that. What is it? The 7th place team in Azerbaijan or something. I can't even remember where that team was. Where was it? It was here. It was this team, Qarabag FK. Yeah, it's a 6th place team, 7th place team in the Azerbaijan league. Fair enough. Never heard of him. Never heard of Qarabag FK. I'm not even going to try to pretend that I do. So either way, we've got some good games. We've got good potential. I'm excited to see how it's going to be. But either way, guys, let me know what your thoughts are down in the comments below. Obviously, drop a follow. I couldn't be on Football Terrace last night because I was unfortunately a bit preoccupied. But either way, guys, I think it was a good game. It was a good game. I'm happy with how it went. I obviously would have preferred if we won, but either way, more nights like that. St James's Park fans absolutely amazing as usual, and peace. Much love, guys.